Hi guys, welcome back. If you are new to keto, you might be thinking, what is keto coffee? But chances are you have heard of some kind of form of this coffee. Oftentimes, like bulletproof coffee you've heard of, maybe fat coffee, butter coffee. It's honestly, I swear I call it butter coffee half of the time. But basically it's coffee with several tablespoons of some kind of healthy fat in it. So before starting keto, I really stuck strictly with black coffee, I think is a way to kind of try to cut down on calories and things. And I mean, I was eating so many carbs, it was ridiculous anyway. But switching and transitioning to a keto lifestyle, coffee became a way that I could start my day and really fill me up and satisfy me to get me through to lunch. So I love the fact that keto coffee is full of fat. It's a way you can start your day, get your fat in early, and it really does satisfy you. I mean, I've gotten to the point that I really do just a natural intermittent fasting where I will eat, sometimes I have a nighttime snack at night. Sometimes we'll have like cheese and wine in the evenings. But if I start my day with a cup of keto coffee, I usually last right through lunchtime and oftentimes go to the afternoon before I start to feel like, oh, I think maybe I want to eat something. Some days are different than others, but generally this kind of fat-filled coffee fills me up, it satisfies me, and it's also just really good. So today I'm going to walk you through the way I like to make it, but also give you lots of options. So depending on your taste and what you also have already maybe in your own kitchen, you can absolutely make a version of this keto coffee today. I'm sure you can. So let's go ahead and get started. You want to start off with a pot of brewed coffee. So today I'm just using my standard drip coffee maker, and I made about the equivalent of this pot says 4 cups. I tend to like to make extra coffee so that I can warm my coffee up in about a half hour when the little bit in the bottom of the cup gets cold. So that's why I made a little bit more than I needed here. But typically I would say make at least 12 ounces, but again, it depends on how much coffee you really want to drink. So after you have your coffee brewed, now it's time to pick your fat. I'm going to run through the options of the different fats that I like to use, but there are probably other options out there as well, but these are the kind of top 5 that I use on a regular basis. First, my favorite is heavy cream. This is my favorite. The thing about the heavy cream is it actually per tablespoon doesn't have as much fat in it as some of the other ones, some of the other options that we'll be going over. So I love the taste of this and I use it all the time, but when I'm really needing to kind of up my fat, I will tend to lean toward one of the other options that I'll show you in a second. So I tend to get this Horizon Organic. I just like the very short ingredient list and that it's cream and there's a little bit of a thickener in there, but it's free of a lot of other junk sometimes that heavy cream has. So this is my heavy cream of choice, but again, you can use whatever it is you have. Next up, grass-fed butter. Now, you've probably heard about Kerrygold as Kerrygold being kind of the standard of grass-fed butter, and it really is. It's fantastic. I have started to find this other brand called Greenfields butter. This is a pure Irish butter. You can get it in unsalted or salted, and it is made from the milk of grass-fed cows, just like the Kerrygold. Now, I have started buying this, and I have been able to find it at Meijer stores near me, and it's been on sale 2 for $5, which is a crazy sale. So that's what I have honestly been getting for the last month or so because it just continues to be on this really good sale. And I wanted to try it out because Kerrygold, while I love it, it does tend to be more expensive. And if I can get this version of grass-fed butter for about half the price, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Another option for fat is ghee butter. Now, you can make your own ghee, and I've done that before, and that is actually very easy to do. Or you can buy ghee from the store. This kind that I have here is Fourth and Heart ghee butter, and they have a couple different versions. They have a version with Himalayan sea salt that I haven't tried yet, but I'm kind of intrigued. And this is also grass-fed. The thing about ghee that is worth noting is that if this is something that you are not familiar with eating, it does have a distinct flavor, and it is a little bit different. When I cook with this, I know that it's obvious when you cook with this. It has a very just distinct flavor profile that is different than standard butter. It is very good, but it can take a little getting used to flavor-wise. Next up, MCT oil. If you have been researching keto for any length of time, you know what MCT oil is. It is from coconut, but it's a medium chain triglyceride, and it's, let's see, for 1 tablespoon, this has 14 grams of fat. So as opposed to the 1 tablespoon of heavy cream that only has 5 grams of fat, if you are needing to increase your fat for the day, this is maybe the way to go. And it also is supposed to give you crazy energy and really kind of kick in your fat burning. I just recently picked this up, and this is something that I've been using more frequently. And I actually have seen a difference when I put MCT oil in my coffee. It does give me more energy maybe than some of the other options. But flavor-wise, it's not my favorite, and consistency-wise, it's not my favorite. So I don't always go to this. Or if I do, I'll combine this with a little bit of cream to kind of give me a consistency more to what I am looking for in my coffee. Okay, and last but not least is coconut oil. This coconut oil I actually got Simply Nature brand. I think I got this at Aldi. It's an Aldi brand, but it's organic, unrefined, cold-pressed virgin coconut oil. It's got a nice flavor. It actually has a little bit of a coconut flavor to it. I can pick it out when I put this in my coffee. But with all of these oils and butters and fats, it does take a little effort to get it mixed into your coffee where you don't feel like you have like an oil slick on the top of your coffee. I find that it is very hard to drink, especially it's all kind of greasy and things at the top, and it's just, I don't know. I have a hard time drinking it when it's like that. So what I have found the easiest thing to do is to use a little battery powered milk frother whisk. I recently got this battery powered whisk from Amazon, and I can put the link below in case you're interested. And this one is great. I have no complaints with it. There are a ton on Amazon though. There are so many different whisks from different price ranges. So I would say just pick one out that is in a price range that you're comfortable with and that has some decent ratings. But what I like about this is that it will absolutely emulsify your coffee. Just be careful, because if your mug is not very big, I've had an issue before that if I have filled my mug too high and then started whisking, I have like a volcano situation and the coffee kind of goes everywhere. So just be aware. That's actually why I like my Baymax mug, because it's huge, first of all, and it's kind of curved over, so it helps kind of keep the coffee inside and just really prevents a giant mess on your counter. So today I started by pouring coffee into the mug about halfway up, maybe a little bit more, but not too full. And then I've added 1 tablespoon of the Greenfields Irish butter, and then about 1 to 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. I didn't really measure the heavy cream, but again, if you are really needing to hit your macros very carefully, I encourage you, please measure. That way you can kind of even just learn about how much a tablespoon looks when you put it in your coffee. And then I hit it with a hand-powered whisk, and all of the fat just emulsifies into the coffee, and it gets bubbly and frothy, and it really is delicious. And I feel like it stays that way. It stays pretty emulsified for a while. And I tend to be someone who lets my coffee get cold and then I heat it up, and I let it get cold and I heat it up. That's just me because I get distracted. But if it ever starts to separate, say you're sitting here for 15 minutes and it starts to separate, I just pull the whisk back out and whip it up again, and it's good to go. The other thing I like about this whisk is that it's very easy to clean. I kind of do a quick rinse, sometimes a drop or two of dish soap. And then after I rinse it, I just hold it down in the sink and I turn it on so it kind of shakes itself like a dog shakes itself to get itself dry, and it buzzes all the water off of it. And then I click it back in its storage container and back in the drawer, and it's ready for the next time that I need to use it. So this is a drink that I drink pretty much every morning. Very rarely will I go a morning without having some kind of keto coffee or coffee with some fat in it. I find that it just really satisfies me, and it keeps me full, and it gives me energy to kind of get me through my morning, and sometimes through lunch. Other days I'm a little bit more hungry and I eat a bigger lunch, but I'll talk about that more in another day. But if you have been curious or have been seeing people putting butter or coconut oil in their coffee and wondered, what is this all about? That is what it's about. As far as ratios go, I do want to touch on this really quick. I tend to use about anywhere from 1 to 3 tablespoons of fat in a cup of coffee at a time. If you're just starting out drinking this, I would suggest starting out with less fat and then increasing as your body can tolerate it, especially with the MCT oil, because this stuff can be a little, it might take your stomach a little bit getting used to drinking this. Some people are fine with it and other people feel effects a little bit quicker. So just be cautious and ramp up to using a larger amount of this in your coffee. So that's it. That's pretty much it. So I've got my keto coffee here. I'm going to finish drinking this and then go ahead and get to work. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you learned something from it. And stay tuned for the next installment of my new Keto Basics series. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Every day feels like Sunday morning. Still got my